In this session, we explore the insert ribbon and various options available on the ribbon as well as how to use them. When starting out to use these applications, it is best to relate to each tab rather than try and remember the process of each task that you need to perform. This is what the screen is for. Microsoft has carefully designed the screen to give step-by-step instructions. It is just important for you to remember, for instance, if I want to format something, then where do I go? I go to the Format tab and then I look for the option I need. If I want to insert something, I go to the Insert tab, which is exactly where we're at right now. The Insert tab holds all commands relating to the inserting of a number of illustration types, symbols, text boxes, etc. The insert ribbon has the following groups: page and table groups, illustrations where we insert illustrations, then we have add-ins, media and links, which we won't be dealing with, and then you have your review options, linking, bookmarks, cross-referencing, comments, headers and footers, page numbers, which we'll probably be dealing with later. For this session, we're going to be having a look at text boxes and illustrations. Before actually inserting an illustration, it is important to understand the elements that make up an illustration, text box or shape, etc. Once we have inserted an image and the image is selected, the following elements apply. The rotation key at the top, which is represented by an arrow in a circle. Then we have our text wrapping box, which is the term given to the feature that allows you to surround a picture or image with text. Then we have our horizontal sizing option, which is the little round circle on the horizontal axis or on the horizontal border of the image. And then we have our ratio sizing, which is the four corners. We have our vertical sizing, which is obviously on the vertical border of the image. Let's first take a look at how we illustrate or how we insert an illustration. I'm going to click on my Insert tab. It takes me to my Insert ribbon. And on the left-hand side, I have the pages like we just saw. I have a table option. Now, first of all, we're going to take a look at pictures, and then we'll move on to tables and investigate the contextual tabs. So I'm going to click on pictures because I need to go and find a picture on my computer. So you can go to any picture that you may have on your computer. Let's see. Okay, there I have a box. There we go. There's a box, and I'm going to click on Insert. It may take a while for the picture to insert. All right. So now I have my box. The minute I select on the box, can you see it brings me up those elements? Here I have my ratio. If I pull it side to side, it will increase the size of the ratio in length and breadth. If I just use the horizontal or vertical ones, it will only increase in horizontal or vertical ratios. There I have my rotation key. I can just hold my left click of my mouse and I can rotate my object where I need it. Here I have my text wrapping option. If I click on this option, you'll notice that it's anchored where it is now. I cannot move it anywhere to where the text is, which means that the text will be placed around it. All right, not either at the top or at the bottom. Wherever it ends or starts, the text will be placed. I can go and change those by, let's say, for instance, we choose this one, which means it will be square around the object. Then I can go and move my text box of my illustration to wherever I want it, and my text now squarely around it. All right, how neat is that, eh? You can go and play around very nicely with those options now. So I can pull my object to wherever I want it, and I can basically place it nicely sitting in my document. Generally with logos and things like that, you'd want to be able to perform actions like that. Now, if you noticed, the minute I click on my illustration, there's an additional contextual tab that is executed at the top of my ribbon. Now I have additional options that are applicable to this image. Okay, I can go and change the style of my picture. I can make it look a specific way. Whatever I want to do. Remember, personal preference is very important here. It all depends on what you need to execute and what you need to show. I can go and change the layout of my picture. I can go and change effects. I can put shadows on my picture if I want to. All right, so I can go and do all sorts of things. I can spend all day sitting here playing with you and showing you the different objects and different things you can actually do with your object. So go and play around with those, and we'll see you in a second. Now we're first going to go and have a look at the table option. On the table option, I'm going to click on Insert again. I'm going to click on Table, and here I get a nice matrix of tables that I want to pull up. So I want to, for instance, draw up a table with 3 columns and 2 rows. So I highlight 3 columns and 2 rows, and then my table is nicely inserted for me. Now I have 2 contextual tabs that have actually come up at the top. I'm sure you've noticed them. One is the design, that's to design my table, and the other one is my table layout. So anything to do with the height, the distribution of my rows, the direction of my text, the alignment of my text wherever I want or need it to be. Inserting a row, inserting below or above, left or right, wherever I want to go, or even splitting cells. So let's say, for instance, I needed a table. I'd already drawn this table up, but I just want this cell to be split in 2. Then I'll click on Split Cells, and it's going to ask me how many columns and the rows. I just want it into 2 columns. So then it will split for me this one here, and here I have a split column over there, and I can then use this as a very big column at the bottom, or a very big cell rather at the bottom. All right, when I stand on the right of my table, it will select the contents of that table. Then I can go and shift the borders. I can pull that border that way, just for that specific cell. If nothing is selected, it will actually apply to the entire column of information. Okay, so if I want to move just cells or change the width of cells, I would select the cell first and then move it. If I want to select an entire column, I'm just going to not select that specific cell. I'm going to move the entire column right through. All right, adding rows. As I type my information and I go down, it will add according to the previous line that was set before. So you can go along and type up this table or type up any table and move and adjust the columns just where you need them to be. Go and try that out, and I'll talk to you soon. That's a wrap for session 3. Let's take a look at what we've learned. Good motor skills with hand-eye coordination is beneficial when selecting objects and or manipulating them. Remember, don't just act as a clicking process, click, 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 or undo. Rather go and see what went wrong so that you know what didn't go wrong or what can go wrong, and you can fix it going forward. The corners of an object, resize options, enlarge and or make an object smaller in ratio. Remember to select the object to activate the contextual tabs relative to that specific object. For instance, in the case of a table, there was different options that came up in the contextual tabs, and for illustrations, we had other options that came up, so it will be relative to the object that you've selected on.